Started skiing when I was 2. Mom would take me out. I hated it, throw tantrums. Um, but being in Park City, I was surrounded by all the great programs that they offered. So all my friends were killing it at skiing, and they'd laugh at me for like pizzaing down payday. So I was like, Mom, I gotta get into this free ride program, and fell in love with it from there. And yeah,
And
what
that's
else?
it.
Yeah.
When people just like when you meet somebody new for the first time and they're like, "Hey, like, what do you do?" Like, what do you say?
I hate that question.
I'm sure you do. Everybody
Yeah.
hates that question, and I can't imagine what it's like as like a professional skier. Like, people must just be like, "What? Like, what?" And it's got to be
Yeah.
hard for you to answer, right?
It is. I mean, I guess you kind of feel like you're gloating in a sense. You're like, "Oh, well,
Right.
you sit at a desk and I just ski." That's literally all I say. I just ski.
That's yeah, that's got to be a hard question. It's got to be a hard question to your point to not sound arrogant too. It's like I'm a professional ski, like I'm good, and then you do you feel like you have to prove something to people, like just be like, hey, here's me skiing this thing, like so that you know that I'm a professional.
No, I don't. I definitely don't feel like I have to prove myself. Basically, I say I just ski, and they're like, "Okay, what do you mean?" Like, well, I I represent these companies and they pay me to ski, and I used to compete and now I film type thing. Kind of
Yeah,
short and sweet.
simple as that.
Yeah.
So on that topic, competing versus filming, do you like one versus the other? Is one obviously they're very different things. Is is there something that you really like about filming more than you like about competing, or vice versa?
They're both special in their own ways. Um like anything, it can get old. Um I just got sick of the I don't know, so many things about contests, but there's also so many things that now I'm not doing it, I miss.
Yeah,
Um, they're both really special and they both can suck sometimes. So that's that's my answer for that. Um, yeah, just the yeah, that's I'm gonna stop there.
they are they're very different, and but it seems like your focus now is more on filming. Like you got a bunch of different things that came out in the last couple months here. That's got to be a major focus of yours, and I imagine for the brands that you represent, it's a really important part of your game, right? Is being able to put out content, like usable content that really showcases your ability as an athlete and as a person.
Yeah, totally. And I feel like that's possible for competition people to do as well, but it's just not there. Like there's not I guess I'm speaking for the girls. There's not a lot of girls doing contests and maybe filming a park edit, or it doesn't have to be street, but making some sort of project on top of contests. It's totally possible. Um, but yeah, I just love the freedom that I never in contests I didn't want to coach. Um, I hate when people tell me what to do. I was always that girl like skiing on my own in the contest or like skiing with my friends. Um, and the freedom of filming is just what I've always wanted. So I
Yeah.
found my niche.
How long have you been filming? I mean, obviously, like I feel like everybody films when they're younger, just trying to like put out clips and put out edits because that's how a lot of people start. But how
Mhm.
often have you like how long has it been for you filming and putting out parts like this for brands?
It hasn't been a long time. I would say my first appearance on the big screen was GOC.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, and then the Welcome movie. So,
Yeah.
and I only had like 2 or 3 shots in there, and I was like, "All right, I think I'm gonna focus on this.
Yeah. And I think that's super apparent. Like your style comes out so well in like a video setting like that. Like the way it's cut together, the way it's all mixed, even in like in Hum, that's what it was. It was called Hum, right?
Hmm.
Even in that, it was it was all mixed together so nicely that it mixed all the different parts of your ski game in a way that showcased you really well as an athlete, I think. And I think that opportunity is there a lot more with filming than it might be with competing.
Totally. Yeah. You have the option to hike the rail 500 times until you get what you want to get. And contests, you obviously get 2, 3 runs and you're done. So that can be frustrating.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's so cool to be able to kind of. I would love to get into like the producing side of it all too, like being able to actually put together what I want instead of having someone else do it for me. But that's a start, being able to get the trick until you have what you want and look how you want. And
Do you have plans for that anytime soon?
to
To
make
start
my own.
producing. Yeah, like to start like putting something that like you put it together.
I have no skill with that. Like no, no idea what I'm doing. When Laura or Gavin will be editing, I'm always like creeping in, but I don't know. I would love to. I have ideas of creating projects obviously, and um I feel like that could be a good step to that. So I feel like it's coming,
Yeah.
but I'm not talented or educated on it.
I'm sure it's something you can do without a doubt. And I mean, it's nice, I'm sure, to have super talented friends like Laura that it comes, I don't know if it comes naturally to, but they make it look so natural on screen, like it comes together really well. So that's got to be a nice thing for you to have kind of in your back pockets, like somebody right there that you can just be like, yo, like how do I do this? So
Yeah, very
um
talented people, but it
y-
comes down to the point where you're like, all right, I want to do it myself sometimes.
oh yeah, I'm sure. How how much input have you had in the segments that came out this year or the parts that came out this year? Like you got Skivas came out, Bermuda came out, Tom came out. Like there's a lot of stuff out there right now, like with you in it. And I think they all showcased you really well. But how much input did you have in the way that you were perceived? And like obviously the thing that goes to my head immediately is the Bermuda clip of you like smashing the candle on the rail. And like that's a highlight clip. That to me is something that people look at and they go, she's badass, like 100%. She's badass. She doesn't give a shit. And that image is sick, I think. So how much did you have to do with that?
I got a lot of shit for that.
Did you?
So much shit.
Why?
People were like, that's messed up. I walk my dogs there. Like my kids play there. Like, okay, we tried to pick up as much as we could. And I argued that. And people were like, yeah, right. It snowed. Like, there's no way that you're picking up that much glass. Like, so mad. Um, but on the input side of things, I think that the biggest input that I had was working with Brady.
Mhm.
Um, that was really a really cool thing. It was kind of just low key, like we're gonna make something. I don't know what we're gonna make, but it's gonna be something, and kind of just hung out, and it was mellow. There wasn't this like high expectation of anything. We yeah, just hung out in his backyard, like went on a couple um urban adventures, and yeah, it was mellow. And then at the end, we are like, hey, we have some stuff. Let's put it together and talk to sponsors, see if they're interested. So
Yeah.
yeah,
What is first of all, people are idiots. Ignore that. Like the obviously, I'm sure you do. There's people always have something to say about everything, especially with that kind of stuff. Anything that's like a little on edge, everybody's gonna have commentary for, and you're just like,
I love
hey,
it.
just
Bring it.
shut up. Yeah, like just leave it alone. Like, why does it matter? So it's not like you were like throwing it at children. Like it's a totally different thing.
I would
Um,
never.
yeah, for sure. Like, and I'm not saying you would, but they like it's anytime anything's a little edgy, and that's not even yeah. Anyway, I'm just gonna go off on a tangent and just be upset and like because I hate when people do that because it stifles people's creativity if they have to in the back of their head go, oh, people on the internet are gonna get mad about something really dumb and not that important, right? It's not a huge deal. Like
Yeah.
nobody got hurt from it. Nobody's kid went and ate that, and like I just don't see it. So
Yeah.
how does the process go when you approach a sponsor and you're like, here, I have this project. Is there interest in it? I mean, how often are you getting told no? How often are you like having to really shop it around?
Um, I have only, I'd say like it's pretty, like I said, it's pretty new for me. So
Yeah.
I can't say like I don't really have a strong opinion on that. Um, it's worked. The like for Hum, it worked.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, Brady had a lot to do with the behind the scenes kind of for
Yeah.
that. I feel like maybe I approached one of the sponsors and he approached the rest and it went good. So, um, I mean, as far as like sponsoring me instead of projects, that's a whole different story. I'm
Yeah.
always like trying to see find a different company that I can represent that maybe doesn't have to do with skiing, like a CBD company or
Yeah.
Yeti or Ski-Doo or something.
Right.
But that or like a beer company like 10 Barrel, I've been talking to them a little bit. But it's just so hard to like create establish relationship and like build from the bottom to the top like I have with my other companies, ski companies.
Yeah. Yeah. What do they look for? I mean, because that's always one of the whenever anybody comes on the show, one of the guaranteed questions we get is how do I become a professional skier? How do I get people to answer my emails? Because that's like the thing, right? It's like, and from the sponsor side, you look at it and you get so much in. It's hard to separate what's good, what's bad, for sure. And even if everybody else sees it, a sponsor may not see it. So how do you separate yourself from like the hundreds of emails that somebody may get, like a company like 10 Barrel or a company like even a company like Line, right? Like to me, Line makes total sense for you. Like they're great, and I don't know you that well, obviously, but the style of skiing that you have goes really well with Line and their whole crew. Like it seems on brand, for lack of a better term. But how do
Sure.
you how do you sell yourself is kind of a weird way to say it, but how do you sell yourself as a brand to sponsors?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a super weird thing. It legit is selling yourself.
Totally. Yeah.
Um, I don't know. For me, I feel like at first I was kind of pushing it. Like, I mean, there's no problem with putting yourself out there and being like, "Hey, look, this is me. This is what I want to do." But I feel like you just have to sit back and establish who you are and what kind of skier you are and what you want to do and put shit out like edits and Instagram's a huge proponent. Meet people. It's all about who you know.
Yeah.
Um, and that will come to you like the right people that see you as something that they want to take on, that'll come. So
Is there an
that's
instance in
my
particular
experience.
is there an instance in particular for you that you reached out to a brand or a brand reached out to you that sticks in your head as like this is how I want it to happen every time? Like it just seemed like it worked so well.
I can't remember the line situation actually. But Dakine, it
Yeah.
was my first year going to Windells, and Windells was my dream. Like I would beg my mom to take, like, please, can I go to Windells or Woodward? I used to rollerblade, so Woodward was like where I wanted to be, but I never got to um, go to either of those. Instead, my mom took me to some church camp here in Utah. We're not religious at all. Um, and yeah, so I think I'm 21 or something, and I'm like, I'm finally gonna go to Windows and work there. And Jason Aaron's was working there as well. He was that running shit, and he was like, "Hey, what do you think about Dakine? Like, the team manager Colleen's looking for a girl skier, and I mentioned your name, and I was like, what? Yeah, of course. Like, I would kill for that. So I feel like there's something special about a brand eyeing you and wanting you, you know,
Yeah,
being like, I like seeing you before reach like sure, I'm not saying don't go promote yourself and like get yourself out
right.
there, but there's something special about being recognized by a brand and then being like, I want you on the team.
Yeah, it's a totally different feeling. You're not having to go to someone and be like, "This is my worth." They're like, "I see the worth." I think that's a totally relatable thing for a lot of people. Not maybe not in a sponsor sense, but everybody knows the feeling of somebody really wanting their attention, I think, or most people know that feeling. Whether it's for like a simple thing or it's like a parent or a family member that really wants you there and you can feel that energy, it's palpable for sure.
Everyone wants to be loved and recognized
Yeah, without
in
a
any
doubt.
way.
That's so one of the things I wanted to ask you about too is so last Pride Month, Dakine put up this awesome post about you and just being like, "We love you, like you're the shit, and like this is you, and we love it." And I
Yeah.
thought that was super special for a brand to do. That they could have just not done anything, but they did that, and you shared it as well. And I thought that was a really cool message from a brand like Dakine that was just like, "We love you."
You're cutting out.
Oh man, am I back?
You're back.
But yeah, I mean, my point is like, I thought it was a really cool message from Dakine that was just like, we love you exactly the way you are, and I
Right.
think that's important for people to hear from a company as significant in the snow sports industry as Dakine.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, times are changing and it's really cool to have that support because I feel like so many people, especially in action sports industry, would be scared of even talking about that because their sponsors would drop them or their peers wouldn't accept them. So I think that the Vans love letters, did you see that?
No,
They put out this amazing YouTube video with Jeff Grosso and about the LGBTQ community, and I think that just inspired us to talk about it.
yeah,
Um, I mean, we don't have a lot of. I mean, Gus Kenworthy, I guess, was the big guy to do that in the ski world, but it's important to talk about. And yeah, it's nice to feel loved and supported, and that you're not going to get dropped for loving the same sex or yeah.
yeah, and it's crazy that that's even a thought, you know. And I don't know how to relate to that obviously, but eh, it's so crazy to me that a brand would even like that would be a blip on their radar or that you even have to feel that way ever. And I agree with you. I think times are changing. I think it is getting better, but I think there's probably still a significant amount of work to do in that respect.
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's a good start though. Like
Yeah.
with that release, I had so many young girls DMing me and being like, "Wow, like you're amazing. Like I can't wait till I can do this one day." Like
Yeah.
so so I guess that's true. Like some people aren't comfortable with it and that's okay. Like it's
Yeah.
they need their time to figure themselves out and yeah, I think eventually it'll just be fine. It's normal.
Yeah. And
Love is love.
I think that's how it should be. Um so on on the topic of girls messaging like you're a role model to a lot of people, I think now. Like it's apparent to me, and I think it's apparent to a lot of people in the industry. Like people do look up to you both as an athlete and as a person. Do you think about that at all?
It blows my mind. It's pretty unbelievable. I still feel like I'm the little girl looking up to people, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I get these DMs every so often that's like, "Hey, you're a huge inspiration. Like, I hope to be like you one day," or and things like that just makes me want to like tears my heart open in a good way, and just makes me want to cry and like open my arms to these people. Um, yeah, it's unbelievable. It's not like I never thought I would be at this point, but I was once that little girl looking up to people like me. So it's really cool to be where I'm at, and I'm super thankful for it.
Who were some of the people that you looked up to growing up?
Kaya Tursky was huge for me, like huge. Ashley Battersby as well, because she lived in Park City. But like I said, rollerblading was kind of my thing before skiing. Like before I even got into the freestyle team or whatever, my mom would drop me off at the skate park from 9 to dawn, and I'd just be sweaty and scabby, and I was like, I want to go to the X Games for this. And then they took it out, and I was like, shit. And then Kaya Tursky was a rollerblader, and then she started skiing, and I'm pretty sure like had never skied before, and just picked it up, and I was like, I can do that. I want to do that. So she was massive inspiration to me, and Ashley, of course, too.
Do you think that rollerblading like kind of I don't know which one I'm assuming you started skiing first, but like do you think rollerblading helped you progress year round? And to people that aren't like super immersed in this, they may think that that's a stupid question, but a lot of the motions are the same. A lot of the feeling is kind of this. Obviously, it's different because you're on wheels and it's hot out and it's summer and whatever. But do you think that helped your progression as a skier at all?
I think it did. Yeah, sure. I would always like try things over and over again.
Mm.
And I remember hitting my first down rail and being so scared. And sure enough, I hit my tips like right on the down rail and ate shit, but I hiked up and did it again. So I can see that being relatable.
Yeah.
And
Um,
you're forward.
Yeah, right. That's I guess it's different than skating, which is the other thing I wanted to ask you about was your seems like you're skating a lot now. You're very good at it. If you haven't been skating a lot, then that's insane. But if I'm assuming you've been doing it for a little bit now, it how do those things translate? Because normally it's like skating, snowboarding, and those kind of mesh together a little more. But lately we're seeing more and more skiers skating in the summer. I mean, Parker White's the first one that comes to my head just because I saw him messing around in Vermont skate parks like all summer. But it, why? Like, what's the deal there?
Um, why skateboarding
Yeah,
or why?
why skateboarding and why is it like it's not the same motion at all, but like you're picking it up really easily, it seems like, and you're doing it a lot. Like is there something that attaches you to skateboarding that is familiar enough or different enough? Like what is it about skating?
Their skating has my heart, like
Really?
fully. I am obsessed with skateboarding. I don't watch, I mean, I do nowadays because it's my job, watch ski videos and like edits but with skateboarding, I'm like, what's next? What's next? Like always looking at videos, the next movies, like following all these crazy skateboarders. But the feeling that skateboarding gives me is like so undescribable. I guess it's similar. It's a little different, but with snowboarding, like I love snowboarding, and I'm scared to hit a down rail or a box or anything. And it's nice to be able to scare myself again. And that helps with my skiing because I feel like I'm really good at mastering what I'm good at,
Mm,
but not necessarily like pushing my limits as far as I could. Um, yeah, it's skating's the best, and it helps me in skiing a lot too. Like for skating, you can't half-ass your shit. You have to like
mm.
fully charge, and that mentality goes into my skiing a lot. I think about how I feel when I'm skating when I'm skiing. So
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. All right, well, a bunch of people asked you questions. So I'm gonna ask you a few of those and then I'll let you get going. I hope you don't have to waste your
me
whole day podcasting with Warner and I, but
all
let's see.
good. Happy to do it. Thanks for having me.
No, always. You'd think I'm never gonna have these questions ready on time and like ready to go, but whatever. Okay. All right. Talty Dan, who's also an alum of this show. Hi Taylor, how many tries was your hardest to get street clip? How many was your fastest?
Um, I don't know if I've counted because that would drive me crazy. But the two that comes to mind for hardest would be the Buddha shot in Josie.
Mhm.
Um, and then I battled a rail this year for the X Games stuff. Um, and lost my mind and had to go back twice. I think we went back 3 times actually. And yeah, that's always the worst when you have to go back to the same spot and go through the same mental battle again and physical battle. Easy, the quickest shit. It's never quick, Dan. You know this. I would say fuck. I don't even know what I've done.
does it
Like,
does it mesh together in your head? Do you like does it like all feel like one big like I don't know like one big like soup of shit that you've done in your career at this point? Like is it hard to separate them all?
I feel like that's just life. Like
Yeah, yeah, fair.
life just meshes. I'm like, holy shit, where did the past? Like my uncle was just talking about a car he's restoring, and he said it took him 50. Like he's like, well, I didn't put that motor together in 15 years ago, and I was like, what? That was 15 years ago?
Oh
How?
my god.
So I feel like that's just life,
Yeah,
and that I'm pretty forgetful.
yeah. Speaking of forgetful, I on my list of things I have real ski on here, but it's on this little sticky note and there's so many just words written down. So real ski, we should talk about that before we'll do a couple more questions and I'll let you get out of here. But um you're in X Games real ski now. Like what's the deal with that? What was that like? What was like getting that finalized and getting the notice that you're in, you know? Like what was that like?
I think I cried. Like
Did you?
I wasn't like, oh, but definitely teared up. Like very emotional for me. I already mentioned like rollerblading X Games was the dream. Like for skiing, of course, it's been the dream, and I've never had the opportunity to do that. So take making the decision to quit contests and focus on filming, and then getting this invite to be in the contest of my dreams, but doing what I have
Hmm.
chose to do, um, was just unbelievable. Yeah, it's such a dream. Super grateful.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was psyched to see that. I mean, that's cool shit. And it's like it's one of the main. I've wanted to do that, and I reached out to you like forever ago too to do one of these, and it just didn't work out while I was in Utah. But I saw that, and I was like, okay, like this is a good time. Like it's good to talk about this. It's 100%. It needs to be talked about because that's sick. It's I'm psyched for you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really cool. I never in my life thought I'd be competing against Tanner Hall. I don't know if he's was able to do it because he got hurt, but yeah, like competing against the guys is a little crazy. But honestly, I took that thought and was just like, just do you, like showcase your style, have fun, like don't go crazy over this contest. Like you're not trying to kill yourself. You're not like just show these people what you got and that's all that should matter. Cause I've heard like horror stories of people filming X Games real ski. So just
Yeah.
tried to come at it with a cool, calm, and collected attitude, and yeah,
Yeah. That's awesome.
stoked to show the world.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I'm please let me know. I mean, I'm sure I'll see it everywhere when it comes out, but I'm psyched to see it. And also, yeah, the fact that Tanner could or could not, I mean, we'll see if he got something together in time, but hopefully that dude heals up soon. I'm sure he will. Like that dude's an animal. So,
Definitely.
um, Madeline Elizabeth, who's another alum of this show. Do you feel like you're under pressure, or do you feel you're under more pressure than your competitors in real street?
I feel like at first I did. I kind of just explained this, like,
Yeah.
of course, I'm going up against some of the most talented skiers that
Yeah.
are out right now. And and they obviously can do more tricks than me and like so yeah, that was definitely a thought at first, but it's nothing to stress about. I have my own style and my own tricks and my own way of seeing urban spots and that all has something to do with it. It's not all about the talent and the tricks. It's about the style and the spot selection. So yeah, I just tried not to stress out about it and have fun with it. I think that's really important, especially when something you love and are obsessed with becomes your career. It's really, really easy to lose sight of why you fell in love with it. You put that stress on yourself, and that's not fair and no fun either. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's good advice for people just looking to do anything that they feel like is a big jump for whatever they're doing, like something that's important to anybody. So, because I don't know anybody that extreme stress has like helped them progress any further. It never does anybody any good.
oh, good, yeah.
Big Purple Ski Suit wants to know, will you ever learn to figure skate?
No,
Okay. What does that mean?
my girlfriend figure skates,
Oh, no
and she's
shit.
badass at it. Um,
Really?
and I think I filmed her, and he was like, "What? She's so good." I used
Yeah.
so that's where that question comes from.
Sick. So no figure skating. Let's see. Maybe we'll end on this one. Bleavis wants to know positives/negatives to working with multiple different crews.
Um, I can't, no negatives are popping into my head. A lot of positives. Um, it's nice to switch people up sometimes, get a different vibe. Sometimes you get sick of the same attitude, so it's nice to switch it up. Especially with the like I love filming with the boys. It's a whole different dynamic, but with the girls, it's like, okay, we're all kind of on the same page with tricks and emotionally. Um, so that's kind of more of a pusher, I guess, like filming with skivas. Coco's an animal, like trying that switch too onto that rail. Um, just a different dynamic, and that's always nice to switch it up.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, thank you for your time. I mean, this has been great. And it's coming out like right away. It's gonna come out this afternoon. So
Cool,
um
sounds good.
where where can people find you on social media? And obviously anything else you have to promote, feel free.
Where?
Yeah, where can people find you on social?
Instagram.
What's your handle?
TAYLAHHBROOKE. Taylor Brook.
All right, follow Taylor Brook. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course. All right. So I just stopped recording, but I will send you everything when